live on the Revival Tournaments channel. We should be, hopefully. I'm joined by Gold Mason and Colin. We're going to do the pairings for the main event. Yes, we are live now.
Hey, how's it going?
Coming in shortly.
Hello.
This is very exciting. One moment. Let me get the link out there to the people, if I may.
Absolutely.
Who are you looking forward to seeing in the tournament? Colin and Gold Mason.
Well, everyone, obviously, but
Can't be biased. We're the tournament runners.
I'm biased. I want to see Super Epic Ampharos. I'm biased towards Super Epic Ampharos.
who doesn't?
Yeah. I mean, I think everybody in the community wants to see play. I'm particularly excited for some of the up and coming players in the last year. Crystal and Mako really come to mind.
Oh yes.
Impressed in different tournaments. Crystal's in CI, which was really hype. So.
We got a chatter. We didn't have any chatters yet. I wasn't sure if we were actually live or not. No, we're good. We're good. Okay, folks.
We are live.
Let's get into it. I've got my Google Doc featuring all of the gamers. All 32 of them. And a random number generator. And here we go. We're going to do it. Let's generate a number. It is player number 9. First up, that is Fakes. Who is Fakes going to play up against? We'll find out.
That's a hype one already.
Number 18, that is Mako. Fakes versus
Hey.
Mako for the first pairing.
It's definitely a veteran versus slightly more newcomer matchup there. Fakes, of course, would be the
Yeah, Fake's been around for
stalwart.
a long time. Mako newer to the format, relatively. But has done well recently.
Fakes probably more well known for slightly more defensive leaning builds, generally speaking, I'd say. Lots of Milotic, Blissey, that sort of thing. And Mako, actually, I would say probably more offensive oriented. I think she used a lot of. She shares a lot of teams with friends, so.
Yep. Talisius, notably, contributes a lot of teams to Mako's builder. Lots of Zapdos. You see a lot of Zapdos. Mako brought Zap Mag last SPL, which earned an instant fan from me, since I am a huge fan of the Zap Mag style. And yeah, excited to see that matchup for sure.
That's going to be epic.
That
I'm
is
kind
a
of
good
trash
one.
at Google Sheets here. I don't know how to move them up, but I'll just round it.
Just click click the cell right under Endel, and then click Control V. No, under Endel, the empty one. Control V.
Oh, look at that. Yep,
and then just grab
Oh, incredible.
Leo, and then
He's a genius.
incredible! Look at that.
That's technology. All right. Thank you for that. Okay. Oh, it's number 17.
Now
for
you
the
need
next
to
one.
lower the number. You need to lower the number on the.
Oh, yes, I do. Well, it generated number 17 anyway, so
Yep,
Yeah.
that's fine.
we'll take that one. I'm smart. That is Mana.
Mm.
And who will Mana face
And
up
you have it-
against?
3. You have it rolling out of 33, not 30.
This is incredible.
There we go.
This is insane. All right. Sorry about that. And then gamer number 25, who is Soulwind. My gosh. Mana versus Soulwind.
Mm.
It'd be so hype.
It's two gamers who are, I would say, not really year-round ADVers, but they always show up for the invitationals. And last couple years, especially, they've both done really, really well. Mana would be this again is actually probably, I would say, generally an offense versus more balance or defensive matchup.
Yeah, extremely
being
different players here. Soulwind
Mana being
favoring very
the
like
offense.
safe defensive stuff. Mana with some of the craziest offensive teams I've ever seen
Right.
in previous invitationals.
Never
Big fan
forget the
of-
gore.
Big fan of Houndoom. Yeah, they played it. That's right. Actually, this is the matchup last year in Callus Invitational 7 where the Gorbis came out.
That was
Yup.
epic.
The Endure Reversal Heracross was an extremely hype matchup. That
Yeah.
Mana came out on top of.
Rematch opportunity for Soulwind.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. All right, 28 gamers
Watch
remain.
out for the gore abysses. Watch out for the gore abysses, Soulwind. Oh,
Gamer number-
28. That's a player.
That's Leo
Let's go.
up against
3.
Arctic Breeze.
Ah,
So this would be two players who actually, I'd say, started ADV around the same time. Arctic, of course, well known for building his own stuff and lots of. I think it'd be unfair to call him a stall player. He does use lots of offense teams, but when he does stray away from offense, he'll go with the rest spam, pressure stall, PP stall builds. But he definitely does also bring offense. And then Leo, in Plains, we saw him use a lot of known builds or teams that were snatched from like ABR and HCLAT. So we'll see if he stays with that. I mean, that's not even a bad idea, just using well-known good stuff, but he could also build his own stuff. We'll see.
definitely deviated as well. You saw that game 2 against Humyum in finals.
DD pass Smeagol.
Yeah, taunt DD pass Smeargle is kind of off the wall.
Definitely.
Yeah,
And,
not sure what to expect from him in terms of team brings, but excited regardless. Arctic, yeah, crazy builder. Loves rest. Puts rest on like Gengar and Flygon and everything you can squeeze it in on. And loves the trapper Gengars with like curse, mean look and stuff. Perish trapping.
Oh right, the curse rest set. That one was funny.
Yeah, because you can use Will-O-Wisp with that, I believe, is what the thing was. If you use mean look perish, you can't use Will-O-Wisp or something like that.
Gotcha.
But Colin is right. He does have some cool offensive builds. There was an Alakazam Misdreavus TSS, more aggressive, very creative too. Really liked that team.
Alakazam. I gotta see this wherever it was.
Yeah, I tried it on Jimothy Gaming. That was fun. Good team. All right,
Awesome.
we'll do the next pairing here. Number 21. That is Super Epic Ampharos.
Oh baby.
Who are you facing, Super Epic Ampharos? Player number 11, Markup.
Wow. That's an interesting one.
That's a very interesting matchup.
So I think that's a matchup of the. I could be wrong, but I think that's a matchup of the last two runner-ups of Callus Invitational.
That's right.
True, yeah.
Actually, no, that's not right. Markup would have been runner-up in CI5, but either way, two
former
runner-ups of the past, yeah. And Markup is such a solid, consistent player. Like literally every single tournament he's ever played, he goes positive. And C is not that much different actually in that regard, but definitely does it in her own way with all sorts of amazing off-the-wall builds. Definitely leaning towards offense. Used Shedinja last year, Dragonite, Rapidash.
Such fun.
The
I wonder
list
if
truly does
she's
go.
going to feel pressure to bring something weird and then throw as a result. You can bring something
know-
normal too if you want to see. That's fine. And she does do
Yeah.
that too. Brings like she brought
Yeah,
like
that's the
Carmine
thing,
Blissey
that's-
stall or something. No one talks about that, but they
That's the thing is, you don't really know, and how do you prepare for that? Whereas
exactly.
Yeah.
Markup is a lot more just kind of solid. Brings the staples and plays amazingly.
I remember in SPL this year, somebody, I believe it was Triangles, fished no Blissey into C the 1 week that C brought Blissey, and just systematically lost. C still able to play Blissey at a high level, despite not using it very much.
That's how they get you.
Mhm.
The one time you counted him. I love that. That's what I like about C. Brooks crazy stuff, but is also fundamentally a very strong player that can use like Big Five or
Yeah,
stall or whatever,
Totally.
standard special offense or anything.
It's not like she's a gimmick player or anything.
Absolutely
she's just
not.
really, really, really good. Who also will will bring some really creative stuff. It's not like she's bringing stuff at random.
Yeah, it's usually quite well thought out. Yeah, even the Shedinja
Exactly.
was pretty cool.
Could say that she's mental booming her opponents just a little bit.
Exactly. All right, next matchup. 24 gamers remain. Number 14, that is Leech. Up against Triangles. Have they played before?
That's another. I don't think so. Honestly, I don't. Oh, they had to have played for SPL, right?
I'm trying to remember if they did or not. They may have. I mean, they were both playing in SPL this year, but
Perhaps not in a best
Not
of 3, though.
no, probably not.
Probably not.
PK Leach has performed pretty well in Callus Invitational the last couple of years, and Triangles, of course, Callus Invitational 3 champion, although has not gotten as deep in recent years, but is always just a really solid player. Again, someone who pretty much goes positive in every tournament that he's ever in.
Last CI was particularly unfortunate. I watched those games. It was one of the first CI sets I ever watched because Triangles plays early all the time, and it was very unfortunate. I think he got crit like 3 turns in a row. It was,
Oh, damn.
yeah.
Triangles to me is someone who I'd more associate with offense builds, but definitely like someone who uses everything. And then PK Leach, I more associate with. He's a big fan of Fortress, big fan of like Scarm Mag teams. Definitely more like balance builds generally.
He uses a lot of Wish Protect Rachi, too.
Sure.
River in the chat said, Leech vs Triangles, Fori Mirror. Does Triangles a Fortress fan, too? Can we see a Fortress mirror?
Triangles
Sure.
is I feel. He really is like an all-rounder. He plays anything consistently.
I agree with that. Yeah, definitely. Plays everything.
Well, that's one to look forward to, folks. Okay. Next one. 22 gamers remain. Gamer number 19 is Siglet. Up against whom? River. River awaiting her matchup in the chat. Well, here it is. You're up against Siglet this time. They probably haven't played before. River is like a new player. Hasn't played a lot of these people before.
Yeah, I would think probably not. This is actually an interesting matchup because these are two people who, first and
Oh,
foremost,
they have
I
played.
think.
Sorry, they played in the Pokemon Perfect Open.
Oh, okay. I think these are two players who both really like the Pokemon Skarmory, and of course everyone likes that Pokemon. But these two really, Siglet especially is like if he has a go-to team, it's definitely Skarmory and Gengar, which in some ways is kind of the default team style in ADV. But
I feel like the meta's trending away from Gengar TSS more to like Claydol-ish stuff as well.
Yeah, and then River is someone who really loves to play those Skarmory mirrors and just kind of outmaneuver. So that's an interesting one for sure. But maybe they'll try to
Yeah,
counter
will
each other.
one of them go for a more counter team approach, a mag squad, or will there be preparation at hand? We'll have to see. Or will they go with the old reliable? Because like you said, it might be risky to go with your comfortable Skarm pick into someone who does well in the Skarm mirror, right? Who knows? Next matchup though. Number 12. That is Kurtz. I like Kurtz. Up against whom? McMegan. My gosh.
Another hard-hitting matchup.
Oh,
I mean,
that was the
my
matchup that
first
was
thought is
denied
like McMegan will win this.
in ADV Revival.
Oh, was it? Right.
I mean, I'm really excited to see that one just because Hertz was on such a great tear in ADV Revival, and unfortunately lost to Humyum, which went on to play McMegan in top 4, I believe.
Right, yes.
Which, like, I really wanted to see the McMegan Kurtz matchup, and now we're going to get to see it.
That's fantastic.
Kurtz it's not been as active lately, but last time he did play, he was using a lot of Fortress squads, but he's I would say probably most known for just Spike's offense in general, of all different types. Then McMegan, of course, can use everything, but I would say more often is going to go towards more balanced builds or defensive builds. It's just two really good players.
Yeah, that's a huge one to look for.
That's a fantastic matchup to look forward to, folks. And we have 16 games remaining. Rob Jr. is up against player number 9, Fredazi. Bit of old versus new. Well, I wouldn't call Fredazi new anymore, but I guess relatively speaking, in my head he's still a new up and comer. But that's been years actually.
Yeah.
He's proved
two
himself.
Two players who did pretty well in Callus Invitational 7. Fredazi in his debut, getting a top half finish. Rob Jr. I think getting top 12, maybe even top 8. Rob Jr. I would say someone who gravitates towards pretty basic balance builds. Lots of just Skarm, Gar, Skarm, Celebi, Fortress, basic kind of balance builds. And then Fredazi, probably much more aggressive player, both in builds and in playstyle.
That's true. Fredazi also has an affinity for Porygon 2 Raikou teams. I don't know if he brings them in high stakes situations, but I remember that being his thing.
Yeah, that definitely was his thing. I don't know if he's used that as much lately, but there was a point where he had completely deterred people from ever bringing Dugtrio versus him.
That's funny. Well, that'll be an
Kinda
interesting
like that.
one.
Because then you transition to something like Celebi Arrow Spikes and just
That's crazy. You just spam Porygon 2 and then you just queue Blaziken, Raikou, or whatever without a P2. And no one brings Doug anyway. Insane.
There's always those mind games in team building.
Alright. Up next, Crystal is up against Endel. A couple of ills.
The illest.
That's an interesting one. We haven't seen Endil in big ADV tournaments really that much of late. He did get third place in the winter seasonal that just ended a few weeks ago. But we haven't seen him in the last couple. We didn't see him in the last couple of Cal's Invitationals. He had a really impressive showing. I think it was Cal's Invitational 5. And then Crystal is really only been playing ADV for probably maybe a little over a year now. And she had a really impressive debut in her first Cal's Invitational as well. And played some really interesting teams as well. Smeargle, Regice, that sort of thing. I think I associate her probably more with offense builds, and then I'd associate Endil with more balanced stuff.
Maybe Smeagol is a bit of like a Gen 4 style way of playing Gen 3 with like aggro spike sitting lead and carrying that momentum to the finish.
That's
which
true.
Could
Maybe.
be why she leans towards that kind of play style with her Gen 4 experience. But interesting. And Endel has more experience with ADV overall. We'll see if that ends
Right.
up mattering here. Anyway. Next pairing, number 1 ABR, finally on the board. Up against whom? Cowboy Dan. A couple of old school gamers.
Oh, so fun.
I'm a big fan of Cowboy Dan. Not only because of the Modest Mouse reference in his name, but tends to be a fun player to watch.
Yeah. I wonder if they've ever played before.
Well, they must have, right?
I would maybe, but it's not coming to mind.
Maybe not in an invitational.
Cowboy Dan, I'm not sure the last invitational he played in. It might have been Cal's Invitational 4, maybe 5,
It's been a while.
which always makes it a little more difficult to prepare for an opponent who hasn't been seen of late, whereas ABR, of course, is always in the tournament scene. So maybe there's an information advantage there. But, of course, anyone who's playing ABR is almost always going to be the favorite. He's just got that reputation at this point. Of course, he was a CI 5 champion, Cowboy Dan CI 2 champion. But yeah, Cowboy Dan not as active over the years, whereas ABR stayed active. So yeah, we'll see.
Cowboy Dan upset, perhaps? That could be fun. I wish him well. Alright.
There's always the possibility.
With 10 gamers remaining, it is Gary Oak up against Fear.
Wow. So that's kind of like two GSC players mainly going against each other.
That's what a fitting matchup then, yeah.
Gary plays everything, like literally everything, every gen, every lower tier, but definitely has played GSC at a very high level. And Fear, I think, used to be a little more invested in ADV, but kind of transitioned away from it. Although it did get top 8 in Revival last year. Gary Oak played in Cal's Invitational last year. It was his debut, and he did well. I think got top 12 in the tournament, and used some interesting stuff. Used Houndoom. I think he played an ADV game in SPL this year as well, and brought like this very wacky Hariyama team, I think.
Oh yeah, it was subbing against Michael Derbesta.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fun game, though, I have to say.
So this is two players who I kind of don't really know what to expect from them. in terms of team brings. Not really ADV mainstays, but I think they build their own stuff.
I just made an error, by the way. I forgot to include Star Master and Water Mess in that role, but I think we could just keep that. That's fine.
Yeah, that's all right.
It is what it is.
Forgive
We're
me,
moving
folks.
on.
It's
What's
okay.
next?
It's luck of the draw, including real life RNG of Jimothy messing up. Up next is Conflict.
Ooh, conflict.
Up against. Thank you for letting me know, by the way, chat gamers. That could have been a disaster if not for you. Conflict versus Empo.
That is like two of the best players on the entire website of Smogon right there.
It's a
But
crazy early matchup.
not necessarily ADV players by trade. Empo, of course, probably more associated with modern generations. Conflict more associated with old generations. Won the Smogon Classic last year, which of course gens 1 through 5.
I heard Empo was considered like the best Sun and Moon player ever.
Yeah, and he has a good argument for best Smogon singles player period ever. Conflict would not be far behind. So yeah, that is a pretty crazy draw. But again, not people who we've seen in ADV a ton. Conflict been playing a little more in the last year of ADV, and Empo too. Although this will be Empo's ADV Invitational debut, whereas Conflict has been in a couple tournaments like these.
Perhaps Conflict would be maybe the favorite here with all legit experience and more invitational experience, but it could go either way for certain. That's an exciting one. 8 players remain. Sedlicius is now up against Altina.
Oh, that one's gonna be fun.
I could be wrong about this, but I think these are two players who used to like to team build together a lot. So they probably know each other quite well in terms of what they like, what their general philosophies are, which always makes for interesting possible mind games. Altina, we have not seen play in an ADV tournament, I think, in probably about a year and a half, I think, whereas Sadlicius we saw last year in Callus Invitational made a pretty deep run, getting in through plans, and then making it all the way to top 12 or top 8, I'm not sure. But yeah, that's an interesting matchup when two people know each other like that.
Very glad Altina is in the tournament after a bit of inactivity. Excited to see.
Oh yeah, he's like one of my favorite team builders for sure. So excited to see what he comes out with.
Up next we have Sapientia up against Watermess. Did Watermess participate in ADV Revival? I can't recall.
He did not.
Yeah, that's right.
He did not. He was busy.
Back in the mix now, though.
He is a student right now, and he was in the middle of finishing some sort of certification.
Well, Sapientia, of course, was the ADV Revival champion, and kind of a wild card still. Though we don't really know what to expect from him. I mean, we saw him in Revival, we saw him win the entire thing, but other than that, in terms of ADV gameplay in the last 6-7 years, there's not much to go off of. Watermess, on the other hand, of course, pretty much an ADV mainstay. Has had some periods of relative inactivity, but again, another really solid team builder, solid player. And Sapientia, we just we're hoping to see that he can continue his success from Revival.
A lot to prove. Was it a fluke win? That's what he
It's kind
seemed
of
to
a
say.
kind of crazy thing coming from so many years of inactivity and then just winning the whole tournament. So,
Quite a story, yes.
like, everybody, really wants to see him play some more, obviously.
Everybody wants to see more. Last four. This generates both pairings at the same time.
True.
Jabba versus
Jabba
Star
versus
Master.
Star Master and Behe versus
Odin.
Cyber Odin for the last two pairings. This is insane.
Jabba
This-
and Star Master would be a matchup of two people who've been playing ADV for a very long time. And Jabba I would associate more with offense, and Star Master I would associate more with balance or stall. So that's, of course, always interesting matchup dichotomy. Jabba not afraid to roll up with like Sceptile and Blaziken, things like that, whereas Star Master is quite comfortable just click recover with Milotic and win the game.
I feel like Jabba's a very instinctual player. Makes quick decisions usually. When I've seen him play, he's clicking fast, going for reads. He's very good at that. And Star Master is a very different style, known for that power spam team that's very defensive, and other teams of that ilk. So that's a fun matchup, and both very old school players. Love that. And finally, we have Beefy versus Odin.
Well, Behe is relatively new to ADV still, although coming up on probably about 2 years of playing, which is, not really that new. And he's done really well every single time he's played this tier. I associate him with Reggie Steele, Skarm, Doug, Claydol, Milotic Blissey. That would probably be his favorite team. He's definitely used that like a bunch of times. And Odin, of course, is someone who's known for having team favorites of his own. Loves Wish Rachi, Hypnosis Gengar, Focus Punch.
Mixed Zapdos as well. Excited to see him play. I feel like he's a pretty entertaining player.
I'm incredibly hyped for these matchups. I don't think that we rolled a single bad one. Not that there ever could be.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, all the players are epic because they're all going to be good.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to
What is
ABR
the,
versus Cowboy Dan personally. That's a crazy one.
I was about to ask the same thing. What is you guys' favorite matchup?
I like C versus Markop a lot. I think that's a really interesting one.
I really like the Mana Soulwind rematch. That's
True.
great, of
that
course.
feels really good.
The rematch is always fun. Alright, folks. Well, there you have it. The matchups for the main event. 16 of them coming soon. Stay tuned for some of the greatest gaming ever done.
Indeed.
Any closing thoughts from Colin and Gold?
I can't wait.
Yeah, thank you everybody for watching, and look forward to. We're gonna definitely try for some more live commentary this time. We'll be keeping better track of the players and their schedules, so that we can everybody can watch it live if they'd like, and then watch the commentary come out shortly afterwards if they'd like as well. So, really excited for this tournament, and we will see you guys soon.
See you soon, folks.